Everywhere I look, it's your goodness. Oh,
Okay, and for those watching later, because we've been having coffee on the way in, I was just reminded of a book that I read a few years ago called The Gospel According to Starbucks. And one of the really interesting things in that book was just making the point that these new coffee shops, they aren't new now, but they were new. You had to learn like a whole new language to be able to order anything, that you stand in front of this blackboard with words like grande and bonte and lente and whatever else. And you think, what on earth is that? I just want a blinking coffee. And that's interesting because what they say to us as Christians is that we shouldn't use jargon. And yet some of the world's most successful organisations have introduced a jargon all for themselves. I'm not recommending or advocating that we start using jargon, because if it works for Starbucks and Costa, then it's okay for us. But just a thought. I've got some Bible verses for writers. You may not consider yourself to be a writer yet, but hold that thought for later in the service. Jeremiah 32. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Write in a book all the words I have spoken to you. Revelation 21:5. He who was seated on the throne said, I am making everything new. Then he said, write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true. Psalm 45:1. My heart is stirred by a noble theme. As I recite my verses for the king, my tongue is the pen of a skillful writer. Matthew 13:51-52. Have you understood all these things, Jesus asked. Yes, they replied. He said to them, therefore every teacher or scribe, writer, of the law, who has become a disciple in the kingdom of heaven, is like the owner of a house who brings out of his storeroom new treasures as well as old. Esther 4:13-14. Then Mordecai sent back this answer. Do not think that because you are in this king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. But you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. And Psalm 19:1-4, which is basically saying that we don't always need words. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day they pour forth speech. Night after night they reveal knowledge. They have no speech, they use no words, no sound is heard from them. Yet their voice goes out to all the earth, their words to the ends of the world. In the heavens God has pitched a tent for the sun. Should we stand and worship?